Hello, I'm doing an early video which I'll put on YouTube for electives. So on the 19th of December, I'll be away. So that's why I'm doing this now. And as you know, these are the 7 electives we have. Early childhood, primary, secondary, music, art, drama, technology, community centres and volunteering. So early childhood, we know that students need to learn in context, so they will learn naturally by absorbing. They learn on average 20 words a day, whereas adults will learn more like 5 words a day. Even more, sometimes up to 100 words a day, if they're rested and paying attention. In what context do they learn? Well, they learn by, if they go to ESL kindergartens and child groups and mixing with mainstream people, children. So we need to reflect on learning preferences. Well, most of them are visual and tactile at that age because they haven't got the concentration to sit down and do the reading and writing. Auditory, probably, as well as visual, would be equal second. So in my opinion, the best way to teach them would be lots of up and moving around because their concentration spans only for early childhood, a 3 or 4-year-old, maybe concentration is less than 10 minutes. So you need to have things moving quickly and lots of up, jumping around, and of course quiet time as well. But if you have them intensively teaching English for say an hour or an hour and a half, you'd probably be doing singing, dancing, games, but in the end some kind of creative play. So those who are tired can sit and relax a little bit more. And you can see different parts of the brain. So saying the word cat and then thinking how to write it. It's activated in a different part at the back of the brain. So language is the frontal lobal part. So we call it the frontal lobe does language. And books, as you can see here. And music's back here. Parietal space is back here. So you can say frontal lobe does language. So you can see language and the brain. So we have different parts of the brain. Primary motor cortex, primary somatic sensory cortex, primary visual cortex, and the primary auditory area. There's a place called Broca's area, that's important. So Broca's area is a part of the brain in the frontal lobe, so the front bit. This is the back here, that's the front. That is usually slightly on the left-hand side, which is responsible for speech production. So if that's damaged, then they won't be able to produce speech. So ways that students or learners will produce is by expressing their needs and wants. So if they're tired, hurt, upset. And the way language is used, well, yeah, when they're really young, it'll just be me, now, eat, because that's present simple. Might then go to toys, and then you have articles, so toy, and then pronouns his toy, and then imperative give me, and then can, could, should, and then continuous comes up fairly soon, so maybe by the age of 2.5, 3. Mum is eating. And this is all according to Stephen Krashen's theory of language, second language acquisition. That's in this order. So we have maybe a 2-word sentence, and then they go up to more complex sentences, unless of course they're Donald Trump. So usually 2-word sentences at the age of 2, and then you can have 4-word sentences at the age of 3. So it goes up. So you can see here ages 5 to 6, they can have sort of using conditionality, like I might go if mum says yes, And then age 6 to 7, they know how to use if and second conditional, like I would go if I had time. Ages 7 to 8, they use subordinate clauses, like the woman who was sitting next to me was hungry. And then ages 8 to 10, they can say even though, unless, meanwhile, things like that. And use the present participle, so like the past participle. So I have gone. Ages 10 to 12 pretty much know everything. All the syntactic and semantic cues are in place at this stage. And if it's a bilingual child, they're beginning to catch up as well at this stage. You can see here, so monolingual and bilingual, so pretty much on par at the age of 7 or 8. So assimilation means to be able to use the grammar. So we say that they're assimilated by the age of, say, 8, bilingual children. Okay, so children learn by play. So you want to give them lots of opportunities to play. So if they're in a sandpit, sort of things they'd say, asking, refusing, packing away, help me pack. And so once again, recapping, so 50 words, because before we talked about sentences, so you could say at 1.5 years, they have 50 words. And then at 24 months onwards, so at 2 years, yeah, they can say the possessive pronouns as well. And then 3 to 4 years, so speech sounds, they can use present continuous as well. And age 4 to 5, they can ask why questions. Children always say, why? And 5, they can pretty much engage in conversation. And games you can play is like Duck, Duck, Goose, where the person who's goose has to, if you don't duck down quickly enough, then you're out. So duck, duck. And if you're goose, you have to duck. Musical chairs, where there's always one chair too little, so you run around and you've got to try and sit down on a chair, but it'll get pulled out each time before you go around with the music, so there's going to be one person who always misses out. Row, row, row your boat is where you just have two people going backwards and forwards singing the song row, row, row your boat. Hide and seek, you could do with lights off, trying to find people, as long as it's not going to hurt anyone. Hopscotch is when you throw the whatever it is and you have to pick it up on the way back. So lots of games you can play with children. There's a video on how children's brains develop, have a look there. And at different ages as well. So interesting videos, have a look. Okay, now we've got teenagers. So teenagers, you can look here, there's University of Oxford Press have a lot, and for EAL secondary school in high schools in Victoria, you can look here. That's the Department of Education and Training have resources for EAL teachers. So how to deal with issues with teenagers is a big thing. So if you look at the raisingchildren.net.au site, you can see there's a video here I've put in. So you give them time out and then you work with them to resolve the issue with a piece of paper and pen and get them to vote. It's called like restorative justice. Also, if there's a problem, so how do you make this person feel? And that person says why they did it, and you work it out together. So same with the issue, you just say, okay, well, any suggestions? And you work with the two people and then you have a vote. You agree this will work? I don't agree because it will cost too much money. Okay, we'll cross that one out. What about this one, this option? And eventually you'll find an option that everyone's happy with. So a bit more about working with teenagers. There's a thesis on studying children that are in their adolescent years. So basically it's saying that if you respect them, they'll respect you, and that they will naturally push the boundaries because they're trying to work out their selves. So you just have to expect that as a teacher. Next is music, art, drama, because we can put ourselves in the persona of other people. It's easy to lose ourselves. We don't need to worry, feel embarrassed. Acting is a great way to learn English. And music, of course, we can introduce their own culture as well. And art is you can use art so you can talk in English, and then you can talk in English while you're doing the art, and then you can explain and portray your feelings with some kind of explanation to go with the artwork, or you can display the artwork and physically be there in the exhibition explaining to people. So you can use your English through art as well. And there's a blog here on Fluent U about using art or drama. And so these are games you can play, which you can just read all about drama, teaching drama. Next one's volunteering. So in your assignment, you can talk about legal requirements, which is mostly, well, the work safety laws in Victoria. So you have to have them sign off on understanding the way the school operates and the times and uniform and when you can leave and not leave, even if they're volunteering. We've got to sign in, sign out with COVID these days, wash hands before. And always have sanitizer in the classroom so they can use it before they teach or when they come in to teach and help the teacher, of course. The volunteers help the teacher. So there's a document called Guide to Work Health and Safety Act, an updated, amended version of the Health Safety Act of 2012. And there's different sections, and there's a section on volunteering. So if you read this, it's got section 34 on volunteering. So the boss has a duty to make sure the volunteer understands everything, duty of care. So what does that mean? It just means that it doesn't matter if you are a paid employee or a volunteer, you still have to follow the rules the school operates by and know those rules. Next is community centres. So Glenroy Neighbourhood House we looked at. So this place has English classes. So roughly for an international student, it's $300 a week, but for a domestic student with no healthcare card, then it's $50 a week. And if you have a healthcare card, then it's only $20 a week, which is nice to know. And they're the classes. So these classes are only $50 a week. Also for the people who have a permanent visa, because it's subsidised by the government. So they've done their 350 hours with AIMS, and then after that they go on and do EAL 1, 2 and 3. So it's after the first 350 they get. So it's run through AMEP, which is the Adult Migrant English Program, which is subsidised by the government. Yep. So 510 hours. I said 350, I meant 510. They get 3 hours of English study when they arrive here in Australia. So if you're eligible, well, you have to be over 18. You have to have arrived within, 6 to 12 months. You have to register when you arrive. And from when you arrive, you have to commence it within 12 months. And you have to complete it within 5 years, otherwise you're not eligible. You're not eligible. So where can I learn? Well, the AMET places, there's 300 locations across Victoria, in the city as well as in regional areas. And yes, you can do the lessons via Skype or Zoom now as well with COVID. The teachers are all qualified TESOL teachers. And so if you have a sub-skilled visa, you can also join. If you have a partner visa, you can join. If you have a permanent visa, you can join. So you are eligible if you are a recent arrival to Australia and over 18 years. If you're between 15 and 17 years, you can participate in under some circumstances. Usually you have like an auntie or an uncle to help look over you. So studying English at a church. So this is still English in the community, but in the church is also possible. A lot of churches have English, but be mindful, they'll try to convert you as well. And I had a quick ring around the churches and they're all basically closed because of COVID. But St. Scott's in the city, for example, they have services for people who speak Korean. And they have Indonesian Christian church which is live streaming. So the minister has his words put into Indonesian and it's streamed live as well. Canterbury Presbyterian Church, they have a Japanese program. So they encourage Japanese people to go there and believe in God, I suppose, and do the English language as well. So of course there's going to be some talk about God and Jesus. But yes, you'll still get to learn English, which is a good thing. St. James Church, they have English classes, but as you can see, it's suspended because of COVID. Next topic is using technology. So tech, well, we need tech these days, especially with COVID. And social media, like Facebook, blog, Instagram, email, Twitter, have all become the norm now. That's how some presidents past have communicated with us. So we say it's authentic learning because, well, if you blog and it's real time, you can talk to people about how they feel. And if you go to webinars where you can chat to people there. So a webinar host will talk to you, and yes, it can be recorded and put away, but if you're doing a live webinar, so that's authentic learning because it's real learning. And possibility of misuse or distraction is real for technology though. But if you're a teacher and you let the EAL students have their laptops out that day, you just have to go around and supervise and make sure they're not misusing it. And also we have blockers on the any technology that's used in high schools in Victoria and primary schools, so they can't go to YouTube, for example. Can't look at pornography, such things. Anyway, that's the end of technology. So that's all of the electives for the 19th of December for the YouTube channel. And I'll put it up there for you to have a look to help you do your assignments, which will be due actually, well, you'll have till the following week. So the 19th plus 7 would make it up to 26th. Due on the 26th of December, your elective assignment. Okay, thank you.